Hello, welcome to Global Getaways, the travel show Q&A. I'm your host, Guy. Let me tell you, if you got a serious case of wanderlust, you landed in the right place. I've always been obsessed with exploring this planet. From Honduras, Disney World, Cuba. I like to take all the different experiences, all the different history, the food, the culture immersion, soak it all in. Now, I live that dream every day because I'm a travel agent with Let's Travel Today. So that's Let's Travel, the number 2 day. And our motto is travel the world with Let's Travel Today. But this podcast is not all about me. All right? I want to be your ultimate travel resource. I'm going to deep dive into everything you need to know to make your dream vacations a reality. Think of me as your personal travel buddy with a microphone. All right? So we're going to be talking about hopping the Caribbean like a VIP, eating some good food in Oaxaca, backpacking through Europe, planning those epic group trips like girls' night, boys' night, girls' trip, bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, family reunions, just friends hanging out. We do all of that. All right. We'll be heading also to Hawaii in June. And we'll even bring you a live episode from there. All right. We got some cool sponsors on board. And we'll be able to get some links to that. So one of our sponsors is Ray-Ban. Got some Ray-Ban Metas here. I'll have the link out to those. Now, if you've seen in my intro video that Ray-Bans, that roller coaster video, took it with the Ray-Bans. Camera here, video here. Pretty cool. Translates other languages. This is a vibe. Not having to use your phone while you're on vacation and kind of living in the moment, where you could stream out live on Facebook or what have you. It's definitely a vibe. All right. So we also have contracts with Cheapo Air, just to name a few. And so just get ready. Pack your bags, cameras. Join me on this wild adventure. All right. I'm going to be ready to answer your burning questions, share some insider tips, basically just have a blast exploring the world together. Right? Life's too short for boring vacations. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And with Let's Travel Today and Guy's Global Getaways, the world is yours to explore. Let's go. So, episode 1, right? So this is episode 1. All right. Episode 1 is about travel planning. Okay. So we're going to talk about some travel planning, and we're going to be talking about launching your travel dreams, setting goals, and planning your year. All right. So you want to set some realistic travel goals. All right. A lot of times people they like going places, they want to go on vacation, but they don't know where to go. Or, maybe a little bit too expensive. So you need to set some realistic goals. Pick a time, likely. I got kids, so what I do is pick maybe spring break time or maybe during the summer where we can all go. Some people like taking their kids. Some people don't like taking their kids. If you got dogs and stuff like that, maybe you want to find a place that accommodates dogs. Maybe you want to leave them with a sitter. So all of those things are factors you need to factor into your travel goals, right? But I would say make a plan. So if you're saying, oh, I'm going to go like 6 places in a year, right? That may not be realistic, depending on your job, of course, right? Or how much money you have. So I would say plan for maybe at least like 2. That's what I do. Realistic goal. And stick to those 2, right? Now, you want to create like a travel bucket list. Places that you may want to go. All right. Maybe you've seen the place on Instagram. Maybe you've seen it on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Seen a few of your friends go. You want to recreate the tour. Really want to get some food. Check out the historical significance. Maybe you want to go on a religion journey. All right. Plan those trips. You say, okay, hey, this year I plan to go to Egypt. And I also plan to go to Honduras. And set that bucket list, right? You're not going to get to everything at once. So, got to prioritize the places that you want to go. All right. So, write them down, say them out loud, say it in your head, keep on saying it. But definitely throw some views out there so you have where you want to go. Make it know, get excited, hang out. Like, look, this is it. This is where I'm going. All right. Now, budgeting and financial planning for travel. All right. This is a big one. All right. So, most people, like, you do everything but, cruising. I like, right? Cruising specialist. All right. So, usually people book their cruises about a year and a half in advance. All right. So, this gives you a little bit more time to pay and you can budget properly. It's like, all right, $3,000 for one cruise. I don't need to come up with all $3,000 right now. You can pay over time. I have almost a year to pay it. All right. Usually they take the final payment probably around 90 days before you're sailing. So now that you pay the increments, then that kind of lessens the total burden. All right. That's very important. So luckily for you, we have to take care of all this. All right. So you send a form. The form asks you what your budget is. Try to stay within that budget. Right. Go up, go down. But you try to stay in whatever your budget is. All right. And then we give you ample time to pay because you booked your trip early. All right. Sometimes people come and they book their trip late, which is also fine. However, it may cost more. So if you book your trip a week or two, hey guy, I want to go to DR. You booked it a week or two, and now it's going to cost you double the money, right? Not including rentals. Sometimes you may not be able to get insurance because it's too close to the trip. And maybe some extra expenses that you weren't anticipating. Things happen, right? Sometimes people can't book a year in advance because they don't know what their job is or what their situation is, right? Or maybe planning for something else. Right? Another thing you want to do too is get insurance. So increasingly, insurance is costing a lot. All right. Now, insurance prices are moderate, but depends on what you do, right? So let's say you're going on a cruise, okay? You got to get airlifted. Well, the cruise insurance doesn't really cover airlifting, but thankfully, you can get an outside insurance quote that does cover that. So that's something that we do. Not a problem. Let me hook you up with that. But it is important because just in case you get caught up on a ship or something happens, you definitely want to have that peace of mind that you'll be covered just in the event. All right. Now, destinations, timing, like we talked about, depends on the time of the year. All right. So, example, Italy, right? We went to Italy in August of a year. So around August 15th, Italy's heavily Catholic. This is holiday time. A lot of tourists were there. Bunches of tourists. All right, but now we're actually in a Jubilee year, which if you practice Catholicism, that people are doing pilgrimages and stuff like that in Rome, right here. So it's going to be super packed. You may not have the most enjoyable experience like you thought you were. So I would say, like, all right, instead of going to Rome, maybe you start in Rome, maybe take a cruise over to the Greek islands or what have you, and then come back. Kind of give you the best of both worlds. So destinations and timing, holidays, those are very important things to kind of factor into your travel. All right. Utilizing your resources and tools. Okay, utilizing your resources and tools are important. All right. You want to make sure you get your battery packs. Usually you have a checklist, man. You get battery packs, videos for a long trip, other, different knick-knack, chargers, water bottles. There's nothing worse of being like super hot and not being prepared. Your things die. You're super thirsty. Now you gotta spend additional money that you weren't anticipating on spending. All right. Also find out different currencies too, right? You gotta find out what the exchange rate is. Is it cheaper to buy the currency from the US or get it from the place you were going? Funny story. Went to Italy and didn't get the money from the US, which I should have. So ended up getting over there. The cheapest place to get the money from was the train station where he got off. So that was like $10 to $15 per dollar or something like that in exchange rates. Something crazy. So it cost me more to get the money out in this other country than getting in the US. It's a research issue. So that's something that I should have did my research on. Now I know. Now you know. So definitely go ahead, get that money first before going over. Also, let your bank know that, hey, I'm leaving the state, leaving the country, so you're not end up in Europe and they're flagging your card for fraud. Right? Can't use your card now because they flagged it for fraud because you didn't know that you were leaving the country. All right? And you try to call them. Well, Italy is like 8 hours later from here. So if you're calling them at 3 your time while you're in Italy trying to get this fraud situation taken care of, chances are they're already going to be closed. Right? Not back in the States. You're in a different time zone. So that's something to definitely take care of beforehand. Right? This goes for cruising, even in other states. All right? Bank wants to protect their assets and to protect you from fraud. So definitely call them first to let them know, hey, I'm leaving the state, leaving the country. I'll be on a cruise. Don't flag my card. All right, so that's a simple little tip. Flexibility and adaptability in your travel plans. Usually when I set a plan or I send a form out, actually, are you flexible in your days? Sometimes things happen, man, you know? So you may have a range, but I always say, take a day earlier, take a day later. All right? When you come back from your travel trip, likely you're going to be tired. So since you're going to be tired, you're not going to want to go back to work. Right? Take the extra day. If you got it on PTO, take the extra day. All right? Show up to places the night before. Talk about cruising specifically. There's too many times where people come in the day of, get you nervous. Flights cancel all the time, especially now with everything going on. Your flight could be canceled. So get a hotel the night before, add that into your budgeting, check out the town. All you need to do is take a taxi to the port or whatever, flexible days. All right. If you're cutting it close, you don't want to miss out on that trip. Now, we did speak about insurance before, but if you didn't get that insurance, even if you got the insurance, you don't want to miss out on your trip because you cut it close. Came in on the day of. Now, that leads me to another point. Timing, all right? So, all right, give you a scenario, all right? Got a cruise that's leaves at 3, okay? And letting everybody on, all right? If you get there at 2, this is too late, okay? Because the cruise leaves at 3, that means that they need to get their manifest in on how many people, customers are coming or whatever at 1. All right, so now you got there at 2. Good morning, America. That's too late. Good morning. So now it's too late. They won't let you on the cruise because you're too late. You passed the time that they had to get in their paperwork. So that's the value of getting there earlier. All right. Also, things happen. Sometimes you may need to leave a day early. You know, I got a trip I planned for X amount of days and couldn't get a flight the day that I asked to come back. So now I need to leave a day earlier. So you got to be adaptable, right? You have the flexibility and adaptability in order to make this work. Right? It's okay. You're on vacation. Right? Take the stress out. You want less stress, right? You didn't go on vacation to stress out. You went on vacation to chill, to relax, to have fun, and maybe learn something, maybe eat some good food, right? So plan ahead, have some flexibility, and have a good time. All right. Last but not least, we want to know your questions. All right. So if you have any questions related to traveling, any questions related to this episode, definitely comment below and we'll recap it and say maybe a few questions on the next episode. All right. Now, our next episode here, basically, what we'll do is we'll look at some questions. We'll answer them. Let me go on to the next episode. Now, just to recap what we spoke about. All right. We spoke about setting realistic goals. So maybe not 6 or 7 trips in a year, maybe 2 or 3, whatever your job or situation is, and that you could afford to go. All right. Talking about creating a bucket list of prioritizing the places that you would like to go so you can reach all of them. Talked about budgeting and planning your travel. So maybe booking early if you know around the time that you're going to go, putting down your deposit, making payments versus coming at the last minute. Talking about researching your destinations, seeing cultures, norms, time of year, so you can maximize your vacation. We talked about your travel resources and tools, bringing battery packs, looking up simple and small items that you'll need, water bottles, luggages. All right. And then we talked about flexibility. Maybe you need to come in a day early. Maybe you need to leave a day early. No big deal. All right. Now, what we're going to talk about for our next episode is the power of group travel. Now, group travel, that's what I like. Go with your friends, family, maybe a girl's trip, maybe a boy's trip, bachelorette, bachelor, corporate outings. Great time to connect with everybody. But that's until next time. So definitely share, like, comment, share with your friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.